Welcome students of Form 3. Welcome is this third video about leadership, cohesion and interaction in groups and institutions. And I've said this before, but if you want to look in your book to paragraph 5, chapter 2, to see what I'm explaining to you, I think that will be a very smart thing. We're now talking about leadership, cohesion. How well does a group connect? Is there a connection within the group? Are the group people, members of the group, able to work together, and how do they interact? Because each group, small and big, has continuous interaction. And we're talking about groups, more two people or more, who come together regularly, and institutions, well, often more bigger organizations or established patterns of behavior. We're talking about these things. So again, if you have the book, please take the book in front of you and take in front of you paragraph 5 of chapter 2. Learning outcomes, like you can see here, like I always say, learning outcomes are very important. If you don't know what you're doing, then you don't know what to expect on a test or what you have to do on the exam in 2 years. So we're busy with explaining the different types of interaction within and among social groups. So there are different types of interaction. For instance, there is competition, there's cooperation, and there are also some other forms of interaction that we're going to talk about mainly when talking about social groups. So more two or people or more who come together on a regular basis. I'm going to talk about the different ways, different types of interaction. Aspects of interaction within and between groups, and we're going to talk about conflict. Unfortunately, but realistically speaking, conflict is an aspect of interaction of a group. Each group doesn't only have cooperation, it doesn't only have competition, but from time to time in each group there is also conflict. We have to deal with that. And conflict can occur within a group, can happen within a group for many reasons. And simple reason is each person is an individual, and it's unlikely that each individual will get along, have the same viewpoints, will have the same way of thinking, will have the same ideas. That's just unlikely. And that's why these conflicts happen, these occur, because each individual has different opinion, standpoints, viewpoints, ideas, and so on. And it's unlikely that every one of those will always agree with everyone else. Where you have groups, where you have multiple people together, you will have conflicts. Unfortunately, we cannot avoid this. Where you have people together, it's very likely that we will have conflicts happening. Conflict may also arise when members are in competition. So reaching that one spot on the top of the mountain, or becoming the winner of an athletic race, or being the champion while the other isn't the champion, or having an election, and wanting to get that one spot in the Staten, in the parliament, or having an NGO, a non-governmental organization, and want to get that funding. You're also always in competition with other people, and this competition can be so strong that it can lead to conflict. Then second, you can be unhappy of some of the behavior within the group. So if someone in your group behaves, comporta de una manera, behaves in a way that you don't like, this can lead to friction, and after a while this also can lead to conflict. Third reason can be that you're dissatisfied with the leadership. Dissatisfaction. Yeah, you can be dissatisfied. I believe that is dissatisfaction in papimentu. And this can grow stronger and stronger until you don't really trust the leadership anymore. The ability to prevenir, or to resolver conflict is a useful skill for leaders and members. So you can have conflicts because you don't agree with the behavior of someone in the group, or you're competing with somebody, or that you're dissatisfied with the leader, But in the end, most of the time, you have to work together with that person, or you're being led by that leader. So in the end, it's a very useful skill e habilidad para prevenir or of resolver conflicto no. Yeah, that un habilidad hobby useful. Yeah, so in the end, you have to be able to prevent or resolve conflicts, because in the end, you will have to deal with these people that compete with you, or perhaps that you're unhappy with, or that you're dissatisfied with. In the end, you have to work towards the same goal, and you're not always in the opportunity to choose other people to work with or choose another boss. Then the second and the third of this video is cooperation, working together, and compromise. And compromise is probably something new that you haven't heard from yet, but compromise is a very important skill and a very important ability or habilidad that you need. So keep that in mind, compromise. And it's new. Probably you've never heard of it before. Aspects of interaction within and between groups. Interaction, cooperation, better said, involves working together. Individuals can cooperate within a group to see that the group's goals are achieved. So you have a goal in mind, you want to achieve that goal. Groups can cooperate together. Why? To see that wider objectives are fulfilled. So you're working together not only to win this baseball match or this volleyball match, but to be at the end of the season to be champion of your league. You're not only working for your padvinderij for today to have a good cooperation, perhaps in a few months to earn that badge. Yeah, you're not only picking up that piece of cigarette or that can for now, but also the wider goal can be getting a cleaner island. So the wider objective, the wider goal is like in a year or so, or for the whole island, or for the whole world, or for your whole school, what do you want to achieve? People can cooperate together to see that wider objectives, like you can see here, like you can see here, and like you can see there, are fulfilled. That's one reason to cooperate together. Besides that, we have also compromise. And I said before, you probably didn't hear about this before, but it's a very important aspect of working together and interacting with people, maybe. Compromise is about finding a way of resolution between two conflicting ideas or viewpoints. Yeah, a resolution is like you're having a conflict and you want to solve that conflict. That is the way of interacting. You have a conflict and you want to interact, and your goal is we want to be able to work together again because it's your colleague, and this colleague won't be fired. This colleague will stay there, or this classmate will stay in class, or this political partner will be part of the coalition in the government. So you have to find a way to resolute, resolver your issues with those person, because you have a conflict with another person who has another opinion, so that other person has another opinion or idea. So a compromise, you have a conflict, other person has another idea, and you want to find a way of resolution because you have a conflict with a person or another group of persons. Each side makes concessions, very important word. You see it over here, concessions. That means you take a little from you want and you put that aside, and your partner also takes a little and puts that aside, which means you give up something in the form of a concession. You give up something what you want, and the other side also gives up something what they want. And the concession means you give up something, and why? In order to reach a settlement in which you agree, okay, we're going to work together now. I've put something aside, you've put something aside. Now we can continue with what we want. which means both sides, ambas partinan, dat doen een kooi, un tiki. They give up something. Why? In order to reach a settlement in which both of them get a little of what they wanted, but not all of what they wanted. So concession means you give up something. Why? In order to reach a settlement in which both parties get a part, un chiqui, un partido, un parti, kiko nanke. Pero no turcos, only a chiqui of what they wanted. Only a small part of what they wanted. No turcos, only un partido chiqui, kiko nankia. Because you, both of them, both of you, ambos de both man, dat doen een chiqui. Both of you have given up something in order to reach a settlement in which both of the parties get a part of what they wanted and not all of what they wanted. Because that is what a compromise is. Both parties, or all parties, get a little bit of what they wanted, a part of what they wanted, but not all of it, because they gave up something in order to reach a settlement. And compromise in marriage, in politics, being in coalition, in government, working together in a team, in a sports team, everywhere where people work together, compromise is essential, I would say. Because you don't live alone in the world, you will often have to work together with people with their own set of ideas. So you always have to find concessions where you give up something of your ideas and your opinions, but your partner or your person in the same government or your teammate does the same. Key points. So for the last two videos, we've been working on these key points. I won't go through everything, but just mark a few, three random things that I've seen that you might have missed or that are important, but go through the whole thing that you see here. Yeah, go through all of it because these are the key points in these last three videos. Key points. For a group to survive, it must have committed members. Members commit to the goal, but the members also have to commit to the group. Members of social groups may compete with one another within the group. Yeah. So for instance, there is a basketball team or a football team and multiple people want to be the captain. But only one person can be the captain. Yeah, so sometimes members of social groups may compete with one another within the group or even with other groups. And the third, yeah, groups may compete with one another in terms of needs and interests. We talked about an NGO, like for instance, Bos die Open Doet. They get funding, or for instance, Rescate Cultura, who's very active at the VSBO of Sky. They get funding from kingdom organizations and organizations in Curacao and from the Curacao government, and they might compete with other organizations to get the funding for their activities. Yes, so go through the rest of it yourself and try to link it with what's in the text and what I've explained during the last few videos. The learning outcomes, you have to be able to describe and explain requirements for cohesion in groups and institutions, and the different types of interaction within and among social groups. Also try to link this with what we've talked about in the last three videos. And again, we're talking about paragraph 5 of chapter 2, paragraph 5 of chapter 2, and we're talking about leadership, cohesion, and interaction in groups and institutions. Yeah, for now, if you have questions, please ask them below. If you want to subscribe and you haven't done yet, please consider also subscribing so the bell will be rung when I've made a new video, and I will make quite a few of them the coming months. And for now, if you have a question, please ask the question below or during class. And if you want to please watch this video again to really understand what I've been teaching you the last few videos. For now, good afternoon, good evening, and good morning, and goodbye to you all. Hope to see you very soon.